Good morning, everyone. This is David Young. I'm a customer success manager at Esquare. Esquare is a pioneer in providing software solutions, and we have been providing the services since 2012 and have been successfully engaging with Fortune 500 companies in various verticals, including high-tech manufacturing, finance, retail, education, and public sector. Thank you all for taking time out and being a part of today's webinar. We keenly focus on explaining how to migrate on-premise Java application to Atlassian Cloud. Post the webinar, we will be running a live Q&A session. And in case you have missed out asking for anything or you have missed out few points, don't be worried about it. You can bring out the webinar as a recording whenever it is available. Thank you once again, and over to Sai, who will be continuing the webinar. Hi, Sai.
Yeah, hi Sunil. Hi David. Is my voice clear?
Yes, Sai, the audio is clear.
Yeah. So, okay, let me start. Yeah, good morning all. Welcome to Esquare. Welcome to Esquare webinar session, and as a part of today's session, I am talking about JIRA Cloud Migration, where the JIRA system from on-premises to move to Atlassian Cloud instance. That is the session for today. And coming to myself, I'm Sai Kiran, and I have overall 12 years of experience, and a part of that 8 years into Atlassian tools. I'm into JIRA, Confluence, Bitbucket, and I'm actively involved in JIRA installations, JIRA configurations, major upgrades, and various migrations, so like from one environment, and then from on-premises to cloud. That is brief about me. And as a part of cloud migration, today I will cover some what are the key milestones and end-to-end process, and what are the necessary steps we need to follow during the migration process. Moving to next slide. So as part of today's session, I'm talking about below agenda, that is I'm covering migration approach and scope of work and roadmap to migration, and then I'm ready to go, and then a migration day, what are the activities we're supposed to perform, and then what are the post migration activities, and then how we will moving data from migrating data from on-premise to cloud, and then finally risks and mitigations during the migration or post migration. So these are the topics I'm covering. And then moving to next slide. This is the migration approach at a glance. In a pictorial view, the data of the JIRA software will exist on a JIRA server that is nothing but an on-premise. With the kickoff of migration, the data will be smoothly moved to Atlassian Cloud. So how the migration process will be taking place? So I will cover in the upcoming slides. So moving to next slide. This is the first step as a part of our cloud migration. So understand what is the scope of work. So what scope of work always it will cover the primary analysis. That is nothing but whether our on-prem system is flexible to move and sit on the cloud instance. So how we will determine this the scope of work? We will start with we will take some parameters. That is nothing but estimation. So an estimation in terms of understand the current scope of work on the on-premises, and then what are the benefits we are getting once the data and the JIRA system is moved to cloud. And all the users are getting the same comfort or luxury once now the data is moved to cloud, and or we are good at the billing side, and or we are good with generating reports and all everything integrations. Those are the estimations we need to take taken care. And after that, so we do a comparison between on-prem as a JIRA server and cloud, and what are the services exist available on the on-prem server, and at the same time what are the services available on cloud side. So identify and compare these services, and then moving to apps. So always apps, or formally we will call them as add-ons. Always they are play a significant role in the JIRA systems or JIRA world. So without apps, there will be many functionalities. JIRA will be misled. So whatever the apps we are using on the existing system, whether we can see those are same apps or similar functionality will be available or on the cloud, on the cloud side as well. So as soon as we are fine with the apps and all, and then moving to next element, that is nothing but information security. This is always particularly very important for who is banking sectors or healthcare industries. Always they are concerned about their data. So how that data is being protected once the data is moved to on a cloud instance. These are all we can conclude with Atlassian is always having a trust at Atlassian, so that our information security teams will always approach trust at Atlassian, and then to identify the security measures how they are taken once the data is moved to cloud. And then pricing, as of now, is there any charge Atlassian is taking? As of now, there is moving data from JIRA on-premises to cloud is absolutely free of cost. But however, still, if any we are having large number of projects and data, it is better to go and check with Atlassian, since the policies are being updated on a timely manner. So that is the thing. With all these parameters, now we can check whether our migration is turning to a complex, and the level of complexity is medium, low, or high. So once we decide the complexity, and then we can always approach Atlassian and or take their suggestions to make it successful migration. So as soon as we are come with the scope of work, it would be better to raise a ticket to Atlassian with all our findings, and then just have a meeting with Atlassian support teams, and what are their recommendations or suggestions. This is the scope. This is the part of scope of work. So moving to next slide. And then roadmap to migration. As soon as we are fine with scope of work, and we are good to go ahead, and then prepare a roadmap. So then what are the parameters we are as a part of roadmap? So work on a strategy. So how we can plan. So list out all the projects, so what we are having on the existing system instance on-premise, and then each projects identify whether they are having any integrations and any third-party apps they are having, and then any complex workflows, and especially any customizations are implemented in the projects. All these we need to take care, and prepare in an Excel sheet or somewhere, so that it will be easy to track all the projects and their dependency, everything. And then get a trial cloud. The trial cloud will be initially for a 1 week, and later we can extend it a month by month. Hardly this Atlassian will allow us to use a trial cloud hardly for a 2.5 months to 3 months. What will happen after that? So it's okay. We need to take another trial cloud, and just we will safely move our test data to that another trial cloud, and then we can start using that trial cloud. And that is the thing. And the third is data size. So identify what is the data size, including attachments and everything on the on premises, and then we can then we can go decide whether we can go for a JIRA standard site or in a premium cloud. Why? Because as of now, Atlassian is not charging any no any charging any price for space, but still they are come up with some policies. They are not yet enforced for a tree for a free trial or for a Jira standard. They are up to some extent they are giving some space, and but later they are planning to charge something. So with keeping all these points, it is better to check with Atlassian on as soon as we have come up with a migration plan. And then the fourth one is identify what is the migration plan we will go. I basically Atlassian is recommending three methods. One is Jira site import, and then the second one is JIRA Migration Assistant. This is recently launched, and the JIRA Cloud CSV import. So these are the three approaches we can always go ahead. But the JIRA Cloud import site is it's a traditional and because as far we implemented all our cloud migrations with the help of JIRA Cloud import site. Again, JIRA Migration Assistant is newly invented, and still many of users are not started using it. And so and then since JIRA Migration is not only for on-premises to cloud, even we can merge two cloud instances. That is the one solution we are having it with the JIRA Migration Assistant. And coming to JIRA Cloud CSV import. This is this is again even though we are using this method, we need to create all the entire project structure on the cloud side, and then we need to build ports and everything, and then we will start importing the data to cloud. And again, there is a setback for Scrum projects. What happened? Scrum projects are always sprints included, so that's there is no workaround for sprints directly in the CSV import. We need to create whatever the sprints which are closed or open in the cloud side, and then we need to generate collect those sprint IDs and fill the CSV file, and then we will start importing issues. And however, this with the this approach, the sprints will be closed always with the current date or not the original dates. So when the sprints close, those dates not will be impacted. Only the current dates will be affected on the at the time of closing sprints manual and the cloud. So what ultimately this will leads to this is some deviation in reports, and so that's why again this is a ideally this is not recommended for Scrum projects. And then again this is somewhat recommend for Kanban or basic projects. And then with all these scope of work and roadmap, so just prepare a communication plan, and what will include in that communication plan, what is the strategy we are following, and what are the migration method we pick, and then what are the risks, or what are the backup plan, and what are the estimated timings that approximate timings will we will take for migrations. So all these will include in the communication, and then which is we will circulate it to our stakeholders or project managers, and then PMO teams and everybody. So ultimately, they will be here and there. They will come up with some questions, and then we can answer. And then the user stakeholder queries about their data or the kind of integrations, apps, and everything. So this is the thing, and this is the roadmap. And then moving to next slide. And then moving to this, and then show our readiness. So then how we will perform this. So once we are ready with our plan, so just get ready to do a migration. So prepare a communication plan, which includes always, who are the focal points from projects, and then who are the testing team involving, and then escalation metrics, and who are the DB admins or network admins or JIRA admins, all are participating in the migration activities. So just prepare a communication plan, and then so just circulate again to all the entire users. So and then coming to JIRA server, make sure our JIRA server is on a supported version, and if we are on a supported version, there is no need to upgrade before migrating to cloud. And then the next one, once we are good with our JIRA, and then server is on a supported version, and then just we move to our clean up the JIRA server instance. Just identify any projects which are not using for a long time, or any apps which are not used, or any customizations just we created and we leave as it is. Those identify unnecessary elements, and then just remove all those stuff. So then it will be a smoother transition while at the time of migration, and then the redundancy will be reduced. And then go for a single sign-on. As soon as we have a cloud, we'll make sure whether we want a single sign-on. Then we can make it as a single sign-on site. And then moving to user subscription. So as soon as just determine which type of subscription we will go. Basically, Atlassian is offering two types of subscriptions. One is monthly subscription, and the second one is yearly subscription. So as in the initial stage, it would be better to go for a monthly subscription as soon as our site is settled down and all users are started their activities, and then we can go for an yearly subscription. That is not a big toss. Just simply we will approach the Atlassian team so that they will simply switch our subscription to yearly subscription. And then make sure all apps we are ready with all apps and installed on the cloud instance. And then implement a test execution plan, or do a dry run with by color to take proof to collecting proof of concepts, and we'll share with our shareholders to show them results. And then this will be all we will collect in the as a part of test execution. So this is the readiness. And then I move to next slide. So the migration day and what activities we can perform on the migration day. So run the production plan, as follows. Make a communication, prepare a communication plan initially. So this communication plan includes pre-migration activities, or migration activities, post-migration activities. All they will be included. An example, pre-migration activities are nothing but restricting user server access at a particular time and reviewing all the data, and then taking backup. And then migration is nothing but importing data to cloud site, moving attachments and others to cloud site, importing users. And the post communication plan will all with reviewing data, JIRA artifacts, inviting users, all these on what we will doing all these activities in a sequential manner. Just make them in a Excel sheet and share across the users. So as a part of communication, and then make sure install or ensure all the required apps on the Atlassian site are enabled, and then import users. Again, this is since if we are having large number of users to to import, it is better to prepare an Excel report with the users and their respective groups, and then hand over it to Atlassian, so that Atlassian will help us to support importing users in the as a part of their backend activity. So that is the one thing. And then site access, ensure all the who are participating in the import migration process make sure all those JIRA admins having site access, and then on the migration day at particular time, just make sure all the users should not access the server. That's so that restrict the server access, so that no users will come and modify data or do some changes and everything. So that is the one thing. And then prepare a URL redirection plan as soon as the cloud the migration is completed, and then with the go or no go decision, so that network team will prepare a URL redirection solution. If we are fine with all the our test results and everything, and then we will go ahead with our plan, so that network team immediately they will implement this URL redirection, and after that any users will try to access server on-prem server, they will redirect to cloud ultimately. So these are the activities which we can perform on migration day. So moving to next slide. So the post migration activities. So what activities we can perform as a part of post migration. So start you're inviting users to the cloud instance, and then at a time probably we can invite 4-5 users at a time. So like that we can plan how many users are there and how long it will take. So all these user invitations, and then review all the project artifacts such as any complex workflows, permission schemes, integrations, all the integrations and their connections properly established, and review all these artifacts, and then make sure all the global permissions are properly enabled at the cloud side. Since as a part of migration, this global permission won't be automatically reflect on the cloud side, so that this will be taken care by the manual process. And then coming to private dashboards, since many users they maintain their data in terms of private dashboards and filters, these must be reviewed and update accordingly. Some at a times or most of times the dashboards might be miss some settings or alignments, or some miss some filters what they prepared. So all these make sure the private dashboards should be aligned properly with the on the server side. This is the one thing. And then cloud features, even though it is not a immediate move, but start encouraging users to start working on Atlas and cloud mobile apps, creating next gen projects, and then some guidance to how they will create next gen projects. These should be some cloud features, then users should practice later even. And then moving to next slide, and then migrating data to cloud. This is the actual process, how we will move data from on-premises to cloud. So the first step as a part of our migrating, restrict users to access the JIRA instance. So in that way, we can make sure that the node data will be mismatched after migrating to cloud. And then start taking a backup of data from the on-prem server, and then validate the zip file whether it contains the all the required files, and then check the attachment size. Folder attachments are of what are the size of attachments, and it is recommended if we are having more than 5 GB data, 5 GB data, so that plan these attachments in a smaller chunks, and then so that will be easy to it will easy to handle at the importing time. And then once we are ready with our data and then attachments, log into cloud as a site admin, ensure our product access is properly required for required groups. Why? Because if the product access is not properly enabled for site admins, it will pause the import at a times. And then so make sure that again we need to go back and enable the product access, and we need to start importing the data again. So to avoid all these time delays and all, make sure our product access is properly enabled. So once we are done with this, then start importing data in the admin section. Obviously, it means having the full privileges being an admin, they're having full privileges, and then we'll start importing data. And depend upon the volume of data, it will take time. Example, to import a data, 1 GB of data, it would take 2 to 3 hours. And then coming to attachments, if we are having attachments more than 3 GB or 4 GB, it would take around 3 to 4 hours. So altogether, importing data, it will taking 4 to 6 hours. And then coming to importing users, as we discussed earlier, as soon as we kick off importing data and attachments, so we can request Atlassian support team to start importing users. It is, this is not a sequential activity. Parallelly, Atlassian team can now start importing users parallelly with importing of data and attachments. And these are the steps in the data moving to cloud. So moving to next slide. So risks and mitigations. What are all the risks and mitigations we face? We will face during the migration. So import might be failed at a time. So why this is happening? We are having some previous experiences that sometimes on the cloud side, the versionings might keep on changing. They find any bugs and all, this will happen, but this is very rare case. So what will happen at that time? So we can ultimately we can transfer our importing files in a zip format to via using Atlassian transfer link, so that Atlassian engineers will validate the data, and then they will start importing on behalf of us. And then as soon as they complete importing data, so then we can go ahead with rest of things like importing attachments and avatars. And coming to personal dashboards, obviously users might be or experiencing some deviations in while they are testing their boards and all. This should be correct. At times, there might be some configurations will be missing, like some JQL queries or private filters or some workflow mismatches. Everything will be happening. So these need to be set. So in case users are they are finding difficulties, just we will ask access to their personal dashboards by allowing us as a uh, as a part of access. They will allow us, they will give privileges to their dashboards, and then we will start working on their dashboards, and then we will fix. And the other thing is there will be some customizations, will be logos, customized logos or avatars will be included on the on-premises server, but they won't be most of times they won't be loaded in a properly. So the only way here is just download all the our logos or avatars from on-premises, and then we need to import our projects to each project individually. So again, coming back to global permissions, this global permission should be updated manually. Why? Because the import process, the cloud, the import process would not transfer any permissions automatically, so that users might have get extra access or less access, or they're confused with their access to the projects and all. So that the immediate step is to taken care of global permissions. So that is the one thing. If we are planning to import users on our own risk, always we need to be taken care of user creations, while few users may having some special characters, or we need to take care of users. Maybe if users are coming from multiple domains, and make sure all these domains will be properly configured on the admin side of on cloud side, and then we will start using importing users. So since if it is a long list, definitely it will take maximum 3 to 4 hours. Like example, if we have a 700 users or more, probably it will take a longer time. So it is always recommended to hand over this list to Atlassian, so that they will help us to import. And then always it is recommended to review complex workflows so that all key functionalities are working properly. And then coming to apps, what will happen? While since there is no direct facility to importing third-party apps data to cloud instance, always we will there will be some workarounds will be provided by the third-party vendors. So while working with these solutions, there could be a chance of getting abnormal behavior or errors while importing data. So what we will do? On an example, we are importing some JFI data and then we're getting some abnormal errors. So when we, so what happens? So the each project having project keys. So if the project key is in an alphanumeric format, probably the JFI import will be failed. So that obviously what we will do. So make the project key in an alphabet and then we will start importing JFI data. So that then it will be a smoother transition. And not only that, coming to script runners, some options were not available. The script runner on the cloud side. Example, I would say there is a behavioral option that won't be that won't be available in the cloud side. So ultimately, what will be happen? There will be no auto population fields will be auto population for the fields will be disabled. So this we need to do some workarounds by using a JavaScript or some automation rules that is provided by Atlassian. Or Atlassian is also encouraging most of things to be done in instead of scripting REST APIs. So that we need to do some workarounds. And then if we are having Atlassian any apps like project portfolios, there won't be not that much challenges. It's simply we can create structures on the cloud side and then we will start importing data with a few minor errors. The data will be imported and later we can fix those minor things. That is the app side. So coming to performance of the cloud side, as soon as the data is being moved to cloud, initially there will be a significant delay accessing this site. So this is the one point. This is the one major point. That is so that we need to check with users how they are connecting, whether they are connecting using VPNs or they are connecting from regular browsers. And then we need to check what kind of browsers they are using. Some may access using Microsoft Explorer or some are Chrome or Mozilla. These information we need to collect and so we will guide the users in a right direction. And that is the one thing. And although we need to collect the how they are facing difficulties while they are accessing this site or they are editing their issues or they are saving issues or they are facing a performance delay while generating reports and all. These are all needs to be key factors to determine the performance of a site issue. And then after a few hours, maybe after 1 or 2 days, still the site performance is still there. There is a consistent delay. Just collect all these inputs from users and everything, and then just work with Atlassian engineers so that they will fine tune the site performance. But the key thing here is when comparing to loading a site from JIRA server to cloud, there will be a considerable delay on the cloud side always. So accessing a site in the server is easy and it is a bit faster comparing to cloud. So these are all the risks and mitigations. And yeah, that's it. I'm done from my end. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Sai, for the detailed explanation. I believe I'm opening the stage to take more questions.
Yeah.
Yes, this stage is open now. Anybody has any questions, they can please go ahead. Okay, Sai, I believe we don't have any specific questions from the audience for now. However, a few technical questions have been raised over the chat window, which I have already shared with you. Can you please detail them? Can you please read out the question and provide your solution for our audience?
Yeah, so here I have a few questions like, so is it necessary, to do a version upgrade before the migration takes place? So as I would say, it is not mandatory. So whatever, if we are on a supported version, and then definitely we will go, then definitely we'll go proceed, with the migration. And so another, and how the data, apps data will be stored on the JIRA side. As the cloud infrastructure is different than on the on-premises, the third-party data always will be stored on the vendor database side only. It is not at JIRA Cloud side.
Sai, this is Ram. Is it okay if I can ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay. I just have a quick question. Is there any maximum number of users in an instance, or any limitation is there at this moment, or is it like kind of quite open?
On the on the cloud side, the maximum number of users we can accommodate is 5,000. Then right now Atlassian is also working to increase the number to 10,000.
So okay, so that we need to request separately, right?
Yeah, no. As of now, it is 5,000 only, but this is a future plan. Like, no, they are planning to.
Okay, they're planning to increase it to.
They are scaling to 10,000, but right now it is only 5,000 only.
Okay. I have just one more last question. So, are there any different types of projects in cloud? Like, I know Classic. I mean, anything else apart from Classic? Can you give some insight?
Other than Classic, Atlassian is offering on cloud, next gen projects, which are, purely, easy to customize and work with issues. But these are isolated then, to Classic projects. These who are creating next gen projects, they only can access and to and work with that Classic program, next gen projects. Various Classic projects now we can give access to different users using some permissions and all.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Any other questions from our audience? Okay, thank you, everyone. Sai, I believe we have covered all the questions. And before concluding, I would like to reiterate that if you have any further questions in regards to migrating your on-premise JIRA application to Atlassian Cloud, you might feel free to reach out to us at any given point of time. We are happy to help. Thank you once again, everyone. We appreciate your time for being here, and we will be connected with you in the near future with another upcoming webinar. Thank you once again for joining us. See you the next time. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all.